Om Shanti. Pitashri Prajapita Brahma Baba's Life History, Part 39. Title: The Prize of Immortality. Understandably, the first thing anyone who took knowledge wanted to do was to run to Mount Abu to meet Baba. The father of all souls was on earth. So what were they waiting for? Can there be any better or greater thing to do for one's upliftment? In order to retrieve his long-lost children, the all-powerful Lord of the three worlds comes to this earth. Can we not meet him face to face? New students would demand. Our Father, whom we have called birth after birth with loud cries, for whom we were searching in temples and at the pilgrimage places, in caves, in forests, and in the depths of the heart. Now, when our dearest Father has come, how can we remain without meeting him, even for an instant? But the sisters used to reply, "You cannot see Baba now. Only those who observe celibacy, who do not eat in restaurants, who are vegetarian and eat no onion, garlic or eggs, who have made their vision and sanskars pure and have acquired firm faith in godly knowledge, can go." It is a command of Shiv Baba that only those good souls who understand and make efforts for purity can come to see him. What is a good soul? They asked. The sisters reply, those who conduct themselves according to the directions of God. His orders are to be pure in mind, speech, and action, and to be united with him in yoga. The most important thing is celibacy. On the basis of that, we have control over all the other passions. On that basis, the soul can experience the bliss of godly life. One who acts according to this first principle and whose food and dealings are pure, he is the obedient child of Shiv Baba, and he alone can meet him. Only when you have attained that stage can we take you there. You see the body still instead of the soul. You have a bodily intellect. Thus, you will not be able to recognize or understand Father Shiva. It would be a crime to take you in this condition to Bap Dada, and if we take you, we will be punished. The devotees continued arguing. Sister, will Baba punish? Sister, we request that you take us there. Perhaps our decision to give up vice will then be made easily and determinedly. The sisters responded, determination becomes firm by knowledge alone. Knowledge will be retained in the intellect only when a person observes the rule of celibacy and protects himself from bad food and evil company. So first observe these rules. How much can you wish to experience the happiness of meeting the Father if you will not even give up drinking the poison of lust? How can that viceless God meet you as you are? If you do not give up the causes of unhappiness, it is clear that you have not understood knowledge. If you are impure, you cannot go, because it takes only one vulture among a flock of swans to ruin the beauty of the meeting for all. I do not want to make you responsible for polluting the pure atmosphere of that place. When you have filled your intellect with nectar, then only we will take you to that greatest of all fathers. Otherwise, we would be partners in the crime. Quickly become a swan and pick up only pearls, then fly to meet your Baba. Some devotees made effort and some gave up in disappointment. They felt it was just too difficult for them to live according to such high ideals. Others were ready to renounce their old life immediately. We are ready to do everything in this birth for God. Lust is the doorway to hell. Is it impossible to give this up? If we can get God by giving it up, then we give it up from this very moment. Others spoke in this way, Sister, we are from Brahmins. Our food and drink are pure. There is change in our sanskars. Our relatives and our neighbors are witness to that. So you must take us along with you. We will put it in writing that we have complete determination. Now we are dying to meet our Father. So let us go. And such firm lovers of God were taken straight away to meet Bapdada. Next title, The Bodiless Connection. Those who got permission to visit Mount Abu were overjoyed. They sat in the train and kept their stage very high, just thinking about the incredible meeting which was soon to take place. We are going to meet Brahma Baba, they thought to themselves, and Saraswati Mata, and above all, Shiv Baba himself. The euphoria they experienced was unique and grew even more intense as they drew close to the legendary Madhuban. When the train stopped at Mount Abu Road, they looked up at the mountains which lay before them, and they knew that Baba was waiting for them up there. They felt their connection with him even before meeting, as if they were simply going home to their Father. Already they felt an endless flow of happiness. At last they reached the mountain top. The Yagya building stood before them. Brahma Baba had already been given the message that visitors were coming, so they were welcomed joyously. Shiv Baba used to tell the Brahmins in charge of these matters, My own children, who have been separated from me for so long a time, have come. Take care of them. See that no discomfort comes to them. Maya has made them unhappy for birth after birth, and they are tired. Now they have come to be rid of that fatigue, so they should receive both external and internal peace. Please give them every comfort, physical and subtle. The ultimate moment came when the new children were brought into the presence of their two Babas. The atmosphere was charged. Madhuban residents were overjoyed to see their newfound brothers and sisters. They understood the thoughts which had been going through their minds, the questions which were finally being answered. Before coming here, the new children had been apprehensive. How would God enter the body of Brahma Baba? Would we recognize his entrance? What will it be like to sit in front of Shiv Baba? The questions churned on, but now, in the moment of truth, all thoughts dissolved. For the vision of God overwhelmed them. Using Brahma's eyes for windows, Shiva, the father of the world, met his eternal children. Some could not resist going up and touching Baba and Mama. Ah, such sweetness in their limitless love. The fatigue and pain of many births fell away. No awareness of the body remained. And then the soul truly experienced the meeting with the Supreme. It is an indescribable experience, a total melting of the mind. There was consciousness of neither earth nor sky, only the soul and God in boundless love, in infinite peace, in silent, powerful communion. Slowly, the soul would come down again from that great height, but the memory of the experience remained, leaving the single desire to be in that stage again and always. But now the thought arose, we have to meet our other sisters and brothers. That thought alone enabled the soul to stay under control somehow. When describing the experiences, many new children used to say, we felt the touch of peace. In Baba's eyes, we felt the power of God, and it was a revelation. It was like electric power, but this current sent thrills of love through the mind. We felt as if a shower of light was being poured on us. All the most negative, evil tendencies were washed away. Weightlessness, angelic light, divinity were all experienced, and the mind became exalted in holy rapture on the heart throne of the Lord. Ah, to stay here always, for this is life. Next title, The Song of God. Early in the morning, Baba spoke the Murli to the congregation of Brahmins. The flute of knowledge explained reality, awakening the intellect and cleansing the mind. Shiv Baba spoke about the nature of the soul and about himself, of the three worlds and of the three aspects of time. He spoke and still speaks with greater authority than all the saints, sadhus, mahatmas, jagatgurus, rishis, munis, popes, monks, rabbis, lamas, politicians, kings, ayatollahs. He speaks as a supreme almighty authority, being ever free from vice, the eternal ocean of love, the director of the cosmic drama. His every word is truth. His counsel is given for our good, and he will stop speaking only when he has completed his task of making us pure. Then he will take us home. Shiv Baba is not a human being, yet he speaks with such natural and complete pure love that when he says, "My children, my sweet children," we feel immediately our original and eternal bond with him. His look, his voice, his words bring love and comfort to the heart. And whether we know him or not, whether we believe him or not, he knows us well. He knows us to be his. He has come here on earth only out of love for us, to benefit us, to lift us from our degradation and to make us pure and happy. This is God's aim, and he does not fail. From his discourses it is clear he is without enmity. He is fearless. He is beyond death, forever incorporeal. He shows himself to be clearly different from Brahma Baba, in whose body he comes. His expressions, his speech, his light, his love, all are unique. His actions and his words are indisputable proof of his identity. Om Shanti.